The Avengers writers reveal how the Marvel hero Nova almost changed Infinity War and Endgame. With the stacks of cash that both Avengers Infinity War and Endgame pulled in at the box office, it's not too much of a stretch to say that it feels like almost everybody on the planet has seen the thrilling conclusion to Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and its Infinity Saga. But it turns out that what happened on the big screen and what was originally being planned were two very different things. While we've often heard about things getting left on the cutting room floor or being excised from a script for being too out there, like having Hulk bust out of the Hulkbuster armor in Avengers Infinity War, or having Thanos tossing Captain America's decapitated head on the ground in Avengers Endgame, such things are often changes made that already involve characters that we knew would be in the films. However, new details are dropping about the conclusion to the Infinity Saga thanks to an interview with Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, the writers of Avengers 3 and 4, over at comicbook.com. And it reveals how they almost introduced a whole new MCU hero that would have changed the course of the films in a major way. Everyone's favorite helmet-wearing human rocket, Nova. In case you don't know who Nova is, don't worry, we got your back. First appearing in 1976 with issue number 1 of Nova, or The Man Called Nova if you fancy, the story follows Richard Rider, a high schooler who is imbued with the power of the Nova Force, which gives him flight, speed, strength, and energy blasts, among other abilities. He is a member of the intergalactic peacekeepers known as the Nova Corps, or as some fans, not all, but some fans would argue, the poor man's version of the Green Lantern Corps. While Nova has yet to make his cinematic appearance, the Nova Corps and their home planet of Xandar were introduced in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, and it's ultimately where the Power Stone was hidden at the end of that film. However, that's pretty much the last we see of them because when Avengers Infinity War begins, we see Thor and the remaining Asgardians under attack by Thanos, who had already destroyed Xandar and the Nova Corps to gain the Power Stone before the film started. But guess what? This wasn't the original plan for the film. According to the writers, the goal was to have seen Thanos' conquest and destruction of Xandar on the big screen. And from there, the movie would have played out much differently. Nova would have been introduced as the lone survivor of the attack and would travel to Earth with the Xandarian world mind to warn the Avengers about Thanos. Marcus said, in this conception, he would be the Herald, not unlike the Hulk, who was actually standing in for the Silver Surfer, but that one member of the Nova Corps survived Thanos' attack. The Xandarian world mind would be the voice of Glenn Close, because you had her and why not, and that he would be Richard Rider and he would come to Earth. To think we were this close to having Glenn Close in the movie. Oh well, guess we will close the book on that dream. While this would have been a nifty way to get a character's entire backstory out of the way quickly and introduce him to the rest of the MCU characters, this would have led to two very different Avengers films than we got. So why didn't this happen? Mainly because Infinity War was already dealing with a lot of spinning plates at once. McFeely put it this way: you're introducing a whole new character when we're trying to say goodbye to all the ones that you know. So while seeing the destruction of Xandar would have been exciting, it made more sense to have the film start with Thor and Loki. Plus, this would have added an additional speed bump of trying to figure out how to get the Hulk to Earth. Ultimately, it made more sense to have Bruce Banner be the one to warn the Avengers that Thanos was on the way to pick up some Infinity Stones, plus it allowed fans to spend more time with characters they already know and love. Despite all of this, even we will admit it's cool that so long after the release of Infinity War, we're still learning so much about how it was made, and it's amazing that new details are still popping up. Now, this all isn't to say that Nova is off the table for the future. Heck, this isn't even the first time he's almost made the cut in an MCU film. He was reportedly in the initial drafts of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Even Infinity War and Endgame directors the Russo brothers joked that he could be seen in the big final assemblage of Avengers during Endgame's big fight. Turns out they were trolling. We know that Marvel definitely has plans to introduce the character at some point in the future, and we wouldn't be surprised to see him pop up in a film like Thor 4 or The Eternals, or even make his official debut in his own solo film for Phase 5. But what do you folks think? Would you have wanted to see Nova in Infinity War? Do you think we might see him sooner in the MCU than later? And why is the best Green Lantern Kyle Rayner? Josh? Let's discuss. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, why not give us a like and subscribe? If you want to get notified every time we go live with the show or drop a new video, feel free to mash that little bell so you can be up to date on all the latest theories, news, and rumors in the pop culture world.